Hi there, it's David Young, the Resourceful Coach, and we're here at Corinthians Day. Lovely sunny morning here, but we're going to look at something for me really important. My goal is to get you around the golf course with the fewest amount of shots as possible. And one of the things we overlook is rules of golf. Okay, and we've just had the Open Championship in the last few weeks, and we saw a massive ruling that seemed to sort of set the tone for the whole weekend, where Bryson, I'm not sure if he didn't know the rule, but he broke the rules. And we're going to go through a little bit what I see too often on the golf course. And as I said, if you can make sure you don't break the rules, you're not going to get penalty shots. So that's another way your score can go up. Okay, you might miss a 2-foot putt, but if you break the rules, you might get a 2-shot penalty, which is worse than missing that putt. We're also going to talk a little bit about, and again, the same golfer who won the US Open a couple of years ago, and he was going down the stretch against McIlroy, and I think there was very close to another rules infringement, which he didn't do, but it was very close. We're going to show you again. This is something I see way too often on the golf course, and again, it would be a 2-shot penalty. So everything today is about lowering those scores, making sure you don't add extra shots to your game. So what was the situation with Bryson? Okay, we've got our ball here, and we've got some sort of shrubbery behind the ball here, okay? And the rules of golf and the game of golf is about one thing. It's about you go and hit your ball. If it stays in the boundary of the golf course, you play the ball from where it is. And there will be certain positions where you think, okay, I might be able to use the rules in my favour. But in this case, this is just grass. This is long grass behind the ball. And you do anything to this grass behind the ball, around the ball, that could improve your lie, could improve your swing, could improve your stance, you've now broken the rules. You're now going to give yourself what we call a general penalty, which is 2 shots. So I'm going to explain what you can do and what you can't do. Okay, so this is the most common thing I see golfers do in this position, is they'll go up behind their ball and they'll stand on the ground behind it. Okay, as soon as you stand on that ground, you've improved the lie. You've flattened the ground. It's exactly what DeChambeau did. He had this long grass back here, and he sort of came in at an angle, and he flattened it all down. We'll do that on this bit here. So he took all this and just flattened it. Okay, now he said he didn't intentionally do it, but when you watch it, it looked very intentional to me. And the attempt of doing that, what it did in his situation is that ground, the grass was up here, suddenly dropped down to probably half the length. It now allowed him to make the swing that he wanted. Okay, so any touching of this back here to flatten it, 2-shot penalty. Okay. Second thing I sometimes see, people go up to their ball and they'll look at this and think, oh, I'll just get rid of that. 2-shot penalty, I've just improved the lie. Okay, you see people surrounding around their ball and they're doing this with their feet. You're making a stance. You're allowed to make a stance in general, but you can't suddenly turn into a bull and start thrashing at the ground because you're making a false stance. 2-shot penalty. Okay, can't get rid of this grass here, get rid of it in front of the ball. Anything that's live, you must leave it alone. Okay, you must play the shot. You've hit the ball here, you have to deal with it. But let's look at what you can do. Okay, behind my ball is a twig. It's not attached. Okay, that's what we call a loose impediment. I can get rid of that. I can move that out of the way. Looking ahead of my ball, we've got this here. Be gentle with things. Okay, leaves. We're having a really dry summer here. Lots of leaves are falling off the tree. Okay, it's a loose impediment. You can get rid of it. This one looks dead, but actually if I go to touch it, I can see, no, it's attached there. But I'll see people do this and they'll bend it round behind them, and now that makes the lie better. 2-shot penalty. So simple thing to remember is the game of golf is about where the ball lies, you have to play the next shot from. You cannot break, bend, damage in any way, flatten anything that's live. Okay, and that doesn't matter if it's behind the ball, in front of the ball, anything like that. Okay, because if you could do that, you could take 4 practice swings around your ball and make a nice clean entry to the ball and be able to hit your shot. So that's really important. So that's the idea of what we call play the ball from where it lies. And you could see why DeChambeau, again, I just don't think maybe he understood the rule, and the end result was he got that penalty. So from this position, I can move twigs, I can move leaves that are not attached, anything that's ground. Now I'm repeating it, but I see it all the time. You cannot stand on that ground behind it. Okay, we're going to show you though, before we go to the DeChambeau rule, that I think where you can do this. Okay, and you might be surprised, okay, where you can do those sort of things, but you can't do it in this situation. Leave the land alone, you've hit it there, play it from where it is. So we've come to the tee box, and now all of those rules we've just talked about change. And this is why it's so important that you understand the basic rules of the game. If I tee my ball up on a tee box, the ball isn't deemed to be in play. Okay? So on the tee box, I am allowed to flatten that grass. I'm allowed, if I wish to, if there's a piece of grass I don't like, I'm allowed to take that grass out of the way. Okay? So understand, the teeing area, I'm allowed to do those things. As soon as my ball is in play, I'm not allowed to change the lie. And the reason being, the ball now isn't in play. On the tee box, you haven't played that hole yet. So from this position now, you'll see it a lot of the time. People tee it up. Tour players even do that. They'll come back, look at their shot, and they'll play their shot. You're allowed to do it on the teeing ground, but you're not allowed to do it out there. Okay, let's look at another rule that I see all day long that I think nearly cost Bryson the US Open. So here's that rule that we were talking about. Bryson 2024, it was him and McIlroy going down the last hole, US Open. Bryson hits his tee shot left and he's on the edge of the trees. And he just walks in there, a little bit like we saw at the Open this year, a little bit like a bull in a china shop. And he just pulls out the club and he starts doing practice swings and he's hitting the tree back here. Now, let's look at the rule of what we said earlier. You improve the lie. All he has to do as he swings back here, hit this tree. If one leaf falls off that tree, he bends that branch slightly, okay, 2-shot penalty. And I'm just sitting there watching it in amazement. I'm going, wow, how is this guy about to win the US Open, not realizing that one leaf falls out that tree, McIlroy wins the tournament. And he's in there, he's just going, he's doing this, bang, there you go, there's a leaf just fallen off, bang, 2-shot penalty. Now it doesn't matter if you're doing it on your backswing, you follow through. When you get in the trees, I see this all day long with the golfers and they don't realise. Round Corinthians, we've got, especially on the other half of the course here, we've got a lot of pine trees. They swing and just one pine needle falls off. It's a 2-shot penalty. Okay, you've got to realise you've got to leave the course where it is. You've put it in this position. Deal with it. Okay, that's the way I look at it. If I hit a ball in a bad position, I go, okay, that's my fault. So, practice swings, really important. When you make that swing, look, oh, I'm going to hit that. Oh, I'm going to hit that. That might affect. Now, I don't know any golfer who swings and hits a tree on the real swing and finds a situation that they feel, then they continue through. So straight away in this situation for me, I think, well, I can only do half a swing. Punch it down the hole. Now, here's the important thing. If we look back at the two main rules that we're looking at, this is all about what you're doing before you play the shot and how that then affects the shot that you are now going to play. All right, if I now swing and it's my attempt to hit the ball and I hit that branch and it snaps off during the swing, there is no penalty because I've dealt with what was in the way as I play the shot. And the same with those lies that we had earlier. Okay, if I then get rid of that grass as I go through, it's a bit like you taking a divot. Okay, you're just knocking out of the way, but you can't do it before it. That's the important thing. That's the rule that we're looking at here. 2-shot penalty if you improve the lie. So, as I said, I could swing here. I've made my practice swings. I go to make my real swing. I come through and the whole tree behind me falls down. No penalty. I do a practice swing. One little leaf falls off that tree. Add 2 shots to your score. So I hope this video's helped. For me, I'm very keen to get your scores lower. And this seems very sort of simple. But the game of golf is simply hit the ball, go and find it, play it from where it lies. Okay, that's the important thing. Okay, 99.9% of the time, that is going to be the case. So if you are infringed by a tree, work out a way to swing. If you've got thick grass around your ball, work out what you're going to do. If you're unsure of what you're going to do, especially back to that original lie, do a swing 6 feet away from the ball to get the idea. So again, there's no way on earth you could be improving that lie. Again, my channel is about improving your scores. If you are losing balls, you are breaking the rules, you're going to be adding shots to your score. Okay? Remember what I said, 2 things for me. I see this all day long. Don't stand behind your ball. 2, don't hit the tree on your practice swing. Get rid of those. You're not going to get any penalty shots. Those scores will definitely lower. I hope you enjoyed that video. A little bit different to normal, but if you did, please share it with your friends. Press the little bell for the notifications. There's 2 videos that go out every week, and I look forward to seeing you soon.